Hello, this is video number 2 in our series on learning how to use the CALC 84. And so what I'm going to do in this video is show you how to do basic graphing functions, graphing polynomial functions, or actually it could be rational functions or anything along those lines, graphing using the y equals menu, similar to what you would experience on a TI-84. And so let's just jump right into it. If you have not watched the first video on the basics, you might want to watch that. If nothing else, if you're using the CALC 84 on your phone, you'll notice that there's a slightly different looking interface. This is a screen on a Chromebook. Okay, so having stated that, let's go ahead and look at how we would input things in order to graph them. In the upper left-hand corner of your calculator, whether it's on the phone or on a Chromebook, there's a y equals, and we're going to press that. In this particular example, we're actually going to graph two different functions. The first one will be x cubed, so x, and then the caret cubed. You must hit the right arrow to bring it down, minus 3x squared, and I just use the x squared key for that, plus 5x minus 7. Okay, and I'm also going to graph, so we have that cubic function. Next, we're going to graph a quadratic function in the same plane. So we're going to do x squared minus 10. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to show you how, for example, you can find points of intersection between two graphs quite easily. Okay, so at this point, a little bit differently than we'd probably do on the TI-84, we're just going to jump right to hitting the graph button. We don't need to do zoom standard or set up a window that's 10 by 10 or any of those things. And if you don't use the TI-84 and you're not familiar with that, that's okay. So I'm just going to hit graph. So when I hit graph, it will size the window pretty well for what I want to see. Typically, it's going to be really, really good. Now, if you don't like it, then what you can do is you can either use the zoom features, or probably the easiest way to do it is I'm just using my fingers right now, and that would be the same on your phone. You could do it there too. I can pinch and squeeze, or zoom in, zoom out, that sort of thing. Now, one of the reasons that I kind of want to do that here, if you're not a calculus person, it might not be 100% obvious to you that there's only going to be one point of intersection between these two curves. And so what I did by squeezing out like this, I can see that the red curve, which is my cubic function, as I move from left to right, the rate of increase increases more quickly than it does for the quadratic function. Therefore, that point of intersection that I can see in the third quadrant will be the only point of intersection that exists. Okay? So let's first of all take a look at how we can find where these two graphs intersect. All I have to do is press the intersect button, and it gives me the point of intersection. Now, just like anything else with a calculator, more than likely, if you need an exact solution with radicals and things like that, the calculator is not going to be the way to go. It's not going to give you that information. So the x value that these two functions have in common. In other words, if I set x cubed minus 3x squared plus 5x minus 7 equal to x squared minus 10 and solved that, the x value that would work would be approximately negative 0.433. The y coordinate, when I plug that in, is negative 9.81214. Okay, so there's that. Now, other things that can be found is roots. Okay, so if I press roots on this, just now, it just gave me the roots for the blue function. I'm sorry, the red function. In other words, it's showing me in the upper, right on the x-axis, it's showing me the x value that would make that function x cubed minus 3x squared plus 5x minus 7 be equal to 0. Okay? Now, if I want to get the one for the blue function, I'm going to click on that, and notice it gives me the two x values that are the roots or the zeros of x squared minus 10. Now that one's pretty simple because really what you're doing is you're solving the equation x squared minus 10 equals 0. If I did that, I would have x squared equals 10, which would mean that x would equal plus or minus root 10. And apparently, the square root of 10 is approximately 3.16228. There are all kinds of other options that are available here. These are the most commonly used ones that you're going to encounter, but obviously feel free to play around with any of the rest of them. And if you have any questions about anything that I've done here, anything that you'd like for me to explain in more detail, please feel free to put in a comment, and I'll try to answer that question for you. Thank you.